Nice to see you. So welcome to our review session, or actually tonight is, I guess, a meditation session where we practice our calm abiding. And fantastic to see everybody. So let's just take a moment to settle our thoughts and think of why we're doing this. See you. So welcome to our review session, or actually, so we can rest assured that we are following Geshe Gelek's advice and continuing to work with this practice. And calming our minds can only help us be of greater benefit to both ourselves and to others. And so take just a moment and set whatever personal motivation you have for the next few minutes. And then just a reminder that, so when we're doing this practice, Geshe has said it really helps with the practice if we set a motivation of bodhicitta and think about loving kindness and compassion. So if you're so inclined, you can do that at the start, and then we turn our focus to whatever object, either if we're working on this practice, what we've been working with, and if you're just joining for tonight, you can pick anything. It could be a holy image, it could be a flower, it could be your breath, it could be the conventional nature of mind. So let's just start either with the setting our own bodhicitta motivation or beginning with the practice, and we'll just practice here together for about 10 minutes. So thanks everyone, and let's just go ahead and begin. Okay, wonderful. So that's about all the time we have for today's meditation. And next week, we'll go back to looking at the content and review that a little bit. And we can just rejoice that we came together and did this practice. So thank you, everyone, for participating. Geshe should be joining us soon.
Thank you, Venom Chukila. Geshe-la's here.
Oh, yeah. Good evening. Please have a seat. How are you, Chukila?
Good evening, Geshe. I'm doing okay, thanks.
Oh, yeah. Amula, how was your trip?
It's fine. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Good. Okay. So, yeah. So we'll begin with the prayers.
Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sukata, knower of the world, supreme God of beings,
Teacher of gods and humans,
you,
to you,
Buddha
Buddha
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan.
glorious Conquer Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Bhagavan, Tathagata Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious Conquer Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of beings to be subdued, Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain. The three worlds, the best, Savior, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless, color like gold, to you I prostrate. As free like you, the three worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior, having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to the purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, reality to the dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions. Engage in perfect, wholesome actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a defective view, a butter lamp flame, an illusion, a dewdrop, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud. See all causative phenomena like this. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foul faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the ways of aging, sickness, and death. So, do you want the entire Perfection of Wisdom Sutra or the lion-faced dakini?
Maybe we'll say today, say the whole sutra, okay?
Did you say let's do
It's
the
okay. Now the color job. Now this is just the color job.
from the Holy Supreme Realm of Kechara? You possess illumination. Look out for practitioners without distraction as you would a child. To the host dakinis of the three abodes, I prostrate.
Teata gate parasam gate bode so Papa Kunjosum Jaka Dumbodo
Possessing the power of truth, may hindrances be averted,
Doba
may they be
Joji
eliminated,
Neba Joji
may they be pacified,
Shiva Joji
may all enemies and negative forces opposed to Dharma be completely pacified. Shanti Mukudha Sota. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be free from harmful conditions to Dharma. May all excellences be in accordance with the Dharma, and may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here, right now. From the heart of the Savior of the hundred, resembling a clump of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dharma, Lishan Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion-throned lotus and moon, a perfect spotless delight, supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, these abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune, with glory renowned. You who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Water, airs, flowers, fragrant incenses, light, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally. I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May the Vajra body of Tsongkhapa, created from the purity of clear light, free of the rising and setting of cyclic existence, be visible to the ordinary viewer only in its unsubtle physical form, stay on unchanging without waning until samsara ends. May whatever virtue I've collected benefit the teachings and of all transmigrator beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Vajradhara, Lord of sages, source of great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host, Losandrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make requests respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Vajradhara, Lord of sages, source of great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Mars, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges, I make requests respectively with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations. Vajradhara, Lord of sages, source of all realization, treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Losandrapa, crown ornament of the sages of the land of snow, to you, Guru Buddha, embodying the 3 refuges. I make requests respectfully with my 3 doors. Please bless me and others to be ripened and liberated. Please bestow the supreme and common realizations.
One time.
Magnificent and precious root guru, please guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. magnificent and precious root Guru, the lotus seat at my heart, guide me with your great kindness and grant me the supreme and common realizations. Magnificent, be delight on the lotus seat at my heart, guide me with your great kindness and remain steadfast until I attain the essence of enlightenment. By the force of the victorious one Lama Tsongkhapa, acting as our direct Mahayana virtuous friend in all our lives, may we on a pure path highly admired by the victorious ones. So, you want the long mandala or the short mandala?
Short.
Sashi perki shushing metal tamri rabli shi ni degen padi sangye jingdu mi te uwa idokunamdak jingla che pashok jetsun lama tampa kenam kiche kukala kense chujinti jita tsampe duje tsima la sabye cheki Charpawap tu so idam guru ratamadalakam niryatayami.
Sanje choda soje chonam la chanju pablo dane dagi chuje jebe sonam je dola peje sanje do Sanje choda soje chonam la chanju pablo dane dagi chuje jebe sonam je dola peje sanje do Sanje choda soje chonam la chanju pablo dane jamone dagi chuje jebe sonam je dola peje sanje do 라다 라면 남이야지 어보다 자질라도 주지 좀 잡아줘봐요. 사제야서 라도 시제 대베주지 뭐 대다시 담배 주지 좀 되지. 나모라에게 나도 안되지 저보다 담이 탐제 깨도 나게 취어된도 관계 투쟁도 나와다 되고 담배 주는 데서 뭐 고dom되는 좀 Good evening, Alhamdulillah. Good evening, Govina, Jovina. Good evening, Panditji, Pati. Good evening, Mary. Good evening, Suzette. Good evening, Olivia, Mexico. Good evening, Julie. Good evening, Karen. Good evening, CJ. Ninja. Good evening, John. Good to see you. Day before yesterday, I've been thinking about CJ and John. Day before yesterday, I've been thinking. So today, my karma brought here to see them. So John probably did so much work for Liberation Prison Project many years. Such a wonderful person, both of them. So good to see you again. And also John is also my computer doctors. Whenever I have computer problems, John fixed with a kind heart. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, good. Good to see you. Good evening, Susie. Good evening, Laura. Good evening, Bodhisattva Patrick. Good evening, Joanna. Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Tashi Gelek, Alex.
She did it.
Tashi Gelek, Sandra. Good evening, David.
Good evening.
Good evening, Venerable Chuki. Good evening, Elise. Good evening, David. And good evening, all the beings who are invisible here. Good evenings. And anybody who's watching on YouTube, good evening too. Chukila, which section? So can you tell the short title of the text that we are studying?
Yes, the essence of the vast and profound.
Hmm?
And we are on day 3, the start of day 3.
Oh. Any questions?
I have one, Geshe.
Huh?
I have a question. And
Yes, Tom. Yeah, please.
everybody forgive me for being so primitive here, but I would really love an explanation of the difference between Tantra and Sutra, because it talks in the text about how they were seen as opposites at one time, like I think he said it was like water and fire. And I mean, I know the term, but I don't really understand it.
Okay, very good. What is the primitive? What is the primitive?
Well, primitive means that I ought to know. I'm a little embarrassed that I don't. So there you go.
Primitive, that means you don't know?
Yeah, in this case, yeah, I probably could have picked a better word. Yeah.
No. So see, Tom, like people used to think Tantra and Sutra, they are like water and fire. People used to think. I think before Lama Atisha came to Tibet, reestablishing Buddha Dharma, so there's a lot of misunderstanding. So then during that time, people used to think, oh, if you are practicing Tantra, you should not practice no Sutra. That's like, it's like they see it's like fire and water. Actually, it's not. It is, Sutra is necessary in order you to make progress in Tantra practice. Without Sutra practice, we can succeed in Tantra practice. So Sutra practice very much needed. So that is like misunderstanding come, like they are like fire and water. They used to, even people back in Tibet, before Lama Atisha came to Tibet, they used to think like that. So then Lama Atisha kind of cleared it out. So then particularly Lama Tsongkhapa, so these they are like, so main subject of the Tantra Sutra teaching, the main subject is like 3 principles except of the path. Renunciations, bodhicitta, wisdom, realize emptiness. Without bodhicitta, that's called common path or preliminary practice. Without bodhicitta, people are not going to get anywhere, even though practice Tantra, they are not going to get anywhere. So bodhicitta is very much needed. In order to develop bodhicitta, you need to have renunciation. Without renunciation, there will be no bodhicitta. So then why wisdom realize emptiness? So that is the antidote for the root of samsara. If you want to get out of samsara, you need to see emptiness. So these are called foundations. These are the it's called, technically it's called common practice, refers to Sutrayana, mainly refers to these three principal paths. Without that, so like practicing Tantra is like blind person riding a horse. That horse, blind person riding a most powerful horse. You can see. That you have no idea where that horse is going to take you. So this is like that, So very good questions. So now the very good questions, different between Sutrayana and Tantrayana, how you differentiate between Sutrayana and Tantrayana. Sutrayana and Tantrayana differentiate based on 4 points. 4 points. Generating oneself as a deity, that practice doesn't exist in Sutrayana. So that's the one that differentiates between Sutrayana and Tantrayana. Sutrayana, you don't generate yourself as a deity. So that practice symbol doesn't exist in the Sutrayana. It only exists in Vajrayana or Tantrayana. What are you trying to achieve generating yourself as a deity? You are trying to achieve the purity of the body. Purity of the body. Illusory body, rainbow body, whatever you call it, rainbow body, illusory body. So now then, Chukila, you remember those 4 things in English?
I'm sorry, Geshe, I don't.
Environment, where you're in, you are visualizing that environment is not something in Tantrayana. Very environment that you are sitting in, that is not ordinary one. It is like mandala. It is like mandala. The being inside that environment, that you see them as a Dhaka and Dakini, you don't see them as like someone who has all kinds of problems. So what are you trying to achieve? You are trying to achieve the pure, trying to achieve the pure environment, just pure environment. So that's why you visualize the very environment that you are sitting in is like not just ordinary one, is something pure like mandala. There's a second point, which that practice doesn't exist in Sutrayana. So then there's a possessions, house, whatever possessions. So what are you trying to do in Tantrayana? You try to make, whenever you do sadhana practice, you make a lot of offerings. And so then those offerings seal with these 3 deeper understanding of characteristic of offerings. The entity of the offerings, even like actual offerings, like could be like water, flower, incense, lights, fruit, all of that. But in your mind, it is the entity of those offerings is it is the unification of voidness and great bliss. That's what it is. It is the unification of voidness and great bliss. What that means? It means when you in the Vajrayana practice in Tantrayana, there are 4 classes of Tantra: Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, highest Yoga Tantra. And the highest Yoga Tantra, actually in highest Yoga Tantra, there's 2 stages: generating stage and accomplished stage. So there's some practice in generating stage, you finish there, so then you move into the accomplished stage. So then that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to send the energy into the central channels. All the energy will get into central channels time of death automatically, without meditations. That will happen for everybody. Before that, there's a way to send the energy into the central channels. Central channels, there's like, that's not upper part, the lower part, in the middle. That's not created by 2 side channels. In time of death, it automatically has untie. The knot will loosen up, automatically loosen up, because everything's dissolving, everything's going back to where it begins. So you go through this, like 4 internal signs, like mirage. There are 4 signs. Then after that, you go through that 4, what you call 4 empty. So all of that practice can be done way before you die. So that's the kind of practice that you do in highest Yoga Tantra, 2 stages, last stage, completing stage. That's where you're trying to send the energies through your central channels. When they're not loosen up, when you manage to send the energy into the central channels, so then great bliss is being generated. Great bliss is being generated. So that very bliss then corresponds with emptiness. So that's exactly what it means. Unification of voidness and great bliss refers to the great bliss corresponding with emptiness. That's what it is. So now here you're trying to purify the possessions. How you make offerings, and these are not just ordinary one. The entity of those offerings, whatever that might be, flower, fruit, water. For in your mind, it is entity of those offerings is unification of voidness and great bliss. That's what it is. That's the one characteristic. That's the one characteristic. Second one. So now aspect for you is nectar. It's amrita. It's not different than amrita. It is amrita. Whether it's an apple or cookies, for you it's amrita. So there's a second characteristic. Entity, unification of voidness and great bliss. Aspect is amrita or nectar. So now the purpose of offering is to generate a great bliss for the 5 senses. You have 5 senses of object that you are visualizing, whatever that deity might be. So there is the function or purpose of offering is to generate great bliss, which will eventually correspond with shunyata, emptiness. So these are the three characteristics purifies possessions. So then now environment is like mandala. Being inside environment is draka dakini, is just pure. Flower, everything that you see is sealed with three principal points I just mentioned. So now, then after that, there's third point that differentiate between Sutra and Tantra. So now the last one, number 4, is deed, the deed. Deed of body, spirit, and mind. So with that, with that realizations, I say, invocation of voidness and great bliss, with that realizations, so then you benefit other sentient beings. So these are the 4 critical points that only exist in Vajrayana practice. So there's all the Vajrayana practice, has these 4 classical Tantra, Kriya, Charya, Yoga, Hais Yoga, Tantra, but actually it's happening. Where it actually happen, it happens in Hais Yoga Tantra. And there are 2 stages, generating stage and complete stage. So, so then there you see like the deity with consort, all of that. There's kind of what is for, this is what it's for, like ordinary person, whatever the bliss you experience. So we become so attached to that bliss. In Vajra, in like generating stage, whenever you experience the great bliss, you have zero attachment. You have zero attachment. You have no attachment. That's how that great bliss can correspond with emptiness, shunyata, because there's zero attachment. Ordinary person, whenever we experience that kind of, like bliss, through sexual activity or maybe through meditations, so we become so attached. So that doesn't become, that bliss doesn't correspond with shunyata, doesn't become, because we are so attached to that. So in Vajrayana or general stage, there's zero attachments. Even though there's a great bliss you experience, they have zero attachment. There's no attachment at all. So that's how that great bliss corresponds with shunyata. So then, yeah, don't use me. These are the 4 very good questions. These are the 4 things. Hopefully, Chukila will find maybe the right word in English, but there's 3 things. The 4 things differentiate between Sutrayana and Tantrayana. But the perceptions of these Sutrayana and Tantrayana, it exists. It's like fire and water. That concept exists before Lama Atisha came to Tibet, that we are talking about maybe more than 1,000 years, I'm not sure. Lama Tsongkhapa, you talk about 675 years. So that as a perception or that mindset do exist. So then Lama Tsongkhapa, so that doesn't mean Tantra practitioner has to become monks and nuns. No, of course not. No, that doesn't mean that, Milarepa, Marba, they are not monks. They are not ordained people. It doesn't mean that you have to ordain. What it means, that means that you have to have some understanding, not just some. You have to have ground, foundations. So that all explained in Tantrayana or Sutrayana teaching. Okay? I hope I answered that. So maybe that whenever Chukila will find the maybe right word in English. So then very good questions that shows that you have some interest to learn. So that's very good. So I explained the goat, animal goat eating grass. I just touched a little bit here, a little bit there, didn't complete. So, and then what else?
Here's another question. Last
Yes, sure.
you spoke about primordial consciousness.
Uh-huh.
So is that the same as the mind that is clear and knowing the space between thoughts?
Primordial mind refers to very beginning of this life. When you take rebirth, very beginning of this life, that's where everything began. That's where everything dissolved. Not space between thought. You can refer that's like the nature of mind, but primordial mind is something different. That's very, very subtle mind. And text it says that you experience when you sneeze, when you faint, and during also sexual activity, you experience, but without awareness. You experience that subtle mind without awareness. Okay, it's mentioned there, like without awareness. So it is like, yeah, everything will dissolve back to that. That's like sitting between red drop and white drop. That's where everything began. That's where everything dissolved there. So then primordial mind continues. All the other gross mind cease. Gross body cease, gross mind cease. Subtle body, very, very subtle body, there's the energy the primordial mind rides on. So that's the subtlest energy that we have. That energies and the primordial consciousness travel. So other than that, all everything will dissolve. Okay. Then what else? I have no idea. I'm just talking, so I have no idea. I have no clue. Just talking.
Geshe, can I ask a follow-up to that?
Yeah, sure.
Because I thought when you had talked about this before, so for the English translation, we talk about gross mind and gross body, subtle mind and subtle body, and very subtle mind and very subtle body, right? And so is it the primordial mind is just sort of another way of saying the clear light mind that is also sometimes called the very subtle mind, that is the mind that occurs at the true moment of death, where the white and the red, the white and the red, and then the black, and then the clear light. Is that the primordial mind?
You as so like you black out, so then you gain consciousness, so then you experience clear light of death. Clear light of death. Experience that. Yeah, probably you could say like primordial consciousness is the one experience that. Otherwise, everything's gone. So
Right.
Primordial mind is not different than you. It is you. So that experience the clear light of death, which is like clear autumn sky. I guess that during the autumn time, the autumn time is rain. Before autumn, there's a lot of rain.
Not necessarily, but there are clear skies often in the autumn, big harvest moons.
Yeah, because what happened like during that season, so much rain that clear all the dust that we may not see between
Yeah.
the space. Dust that's coming from the ground will be taken care, but then all the dust that kind of obscure us to see the clear, everything settled down. So then we see the true nature of space. Autumn sky, very clear. Not bad, that's what we experience. You could say there's like clear light of death. You could say there's a mother light, or everybody experience.
Mhm.
On top of that, if you have some understanding of the shunyata, or you've been meditating on emptiness, verbally, through contemplations, through deep contemplations, while you are alive, you are meditating on emptiness, verbally, or maybe say the word that describe emptiness, then you say the word, and while you are saying the word, then you are thinking about the meaning. One way to meditate on emptiness, and also you are pause when you say the word, then you are kind of contemplating this, contemplating on emptiness. So then if you concentrate, so there's a deep thinking. So then that moment automatically experience exactly nothing. Nothing. It's just clear atom sky, nothing. So then you experience that, I'm not my body, I'm not my feeling, I'm not my liquid in my body, I'm not heat in the body, I'm not my name. Then you go through that, so then possibly that experience. So then you exactly experience something like that at time of death. So if you can introduce that your knowledge with that knowledge called child light, meditation, or there is a understanding or knowledge, or meditative experience of emptiness, if you have some, if you can introduce that to the mother light, so then there will be probably no pardo. Probably you don't go through pardo, so something like that. Okay. What else? I'm just talking, I have no clue what I'm saying.
So is the mind that is clear and knowing, is that subtle mind?
Ramula, the mind, you divide it into three: gross, subtle, very subtle. Gross, 5 senses, the consciousness related to the 5 senses. So gross. So then after that, when all this dissolve, so the mental consciousness, the cat manifests in front of you. It looks like ninja. So then after that, generating stage, what kind of practice you do? You do death dissolution practice. Then 25, the substance, they dissolve 5 at a time, at the beginning, 5 at a time. So the internal sign, there will be a first one, will be mirage, that you're not actually seeing, but that's how you experience. So then after that, like a spark, the smoke that's coming out of chimney, so then spark, so then like a butter lamp, so then after that you go through, so then the white drops comes down, so that's why you experience something white. So then red drops comes up, something you experience something red. These are called 4 great empty. So then you kind of black out, so then you gain consciousness. So then after that, you experience this atom. Clear, there's no dust has already been settled. So then this is clear atom sky at night. So I think we don't pay attention. I don't know how it looks. So maybe now it's time to pay attention. When is atom now? When is atom? Autumn. When is autumn? When?
It'd be- Go ahead, Julie.
September, October, November.
Yeah, so probably need to pay attention around 4 o'clock in the morning. Get out, look how it looks like. Probably that's exactly what's going to look like. Yeah, around 4, 5, like right before sunrise. Right before sunrise or something. Then you see, then you get some clue. Oh yeah, then, what else? So the 10th Lamla, the 25 substance that dissolve. When the eye consciousness dissolve, there's 5 things dissolve. Ear consciousness, the 5 things, nose, tongue, body consciousness, 5. So there. So anyway, there's 25 substance. So then after that, then there's consciousness continue to dissolve. These are called subtle. So then the last moment, very subtle, that's primordial mind dissolve. So then probably enlightenment or pardon, one of them will occur. Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow another one?
Yeah, sure, Julie.
So then, is that the mind on which karma, the language is not great, but on which karma rides?
Yes.
So karma rides on the very subtle.
Every action we do while we are alive, printed on that subtle consciousness.
Yeah.
That's why the base is steady. The base will continue. So therefore, either you purify karma or it goes on. When you purify, then it's like burning a seed, which has no potential to grow anything. Even though you call it seed, but it's already burned, so you have no any potentials.
So you could say that the karma rides on the primordial mind?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Very good question. Oh, very happy. So asking tough questions. Maybe next Wednesday you are not going to see me again. So,
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Who is this? Who is asking?
Suzette, after the very in bar, like right at the point where you become enlightened or you go into Bardo, what should you look for?
You continue rebirth, another rebirth.
Yeah, but what will you, I understand that, but so what do you look for so that you don't go back into Bardo? Can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear. So, yeah, so that's the tough one. No, that's the tough one. So really need to have meditative experience of shunyata. Without that, we cannot stop Bardo. Bardo will happen. No, it doesn't mean bad things, but maybe there'll be another human rebirth. You can continue your practice, so it's not that bad, having another human rebirth. But only way to stop rebirth or Bardo is to gain some kind of meditative experience of shunyata. What is shunyata or emptiness? So that will guarantee there will be no second Bardo. Other than that, it's tough. Difficult. So then if you are very close to enlightened, so then so it's a rebirth, so you have illusory body or rainbow body.
Okay.
All right.
So then you could come back because you're enlightened to like be a bodhisattva.
Yeah, when you enlighten, so then you can manifest yourself. You don't have to come through wombs. You can just pop up like popcorn somewhere up. You can manifest like hundreds of thousands simultaneously in different hundreds of thousands different places you can manifest. So you can come. You are coming out of your wish, not out of coming back out of force of karma and delusion.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, very good. You know? So Venerable Chukila will look up this, 4 things that Tham asks. I think it's important. How you differentiate between Sutrayana and Tantrayana. And they are not like fire and water. No. So Venerable Chukila will find. Okay. Mary, where are you? In Washington?
Oh no, I'm in the lake in Northern Virginia. It's
Oh,
a lake.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so then we'll start now. I think I already read this a little bit. Third day. So this text has a lot of like histories. So did you read a little bit before you come to class? Oh, you hope that I will read for you.
What did he say?
Not that I would read for you.
So here the main point, the third day begin is Lama's quoting Shantideva text. Tinde tawanye chune dagi gegum machenas. Probably there's like 100 different ways you can explain that. You can explain that in various, explain that very seriously based just solely on Dharma, or you can explain in different ways. So there's something to keep in your mind. I think there's a main point here. Main point, I think. The dear Tawas, achieving, so being a human, having all the necessary conditions. If you want to meditate, you have all the necessary conditions. So that kind of human life, is considered as a precious human life. Only God one, Dagi Gegum Machinas. Now, one way you could say, not being optimistic, then is great loss. The very life that you achieve is considered as precious, then there's great loss because you're always being pessimistic. So then there's this precious life is just slipping through your hand, doing nothing good. It's just slipping through, just being negative. So then being optimistic, so that can be related to Lamrim teaching too, Then if you say, I don't know how to be optimistic, so then the Lamrim is the best teachings that will teach you step by step how to be optimistic, how to have faith in yourself, unshakable faith, not just faith. Lamrim will teach you step by step how one must have unshakable faith to oneself, so that you are capable, that you can free yourself from the samsara for good. Not just that, help others, at least start the journey, explain to them how to start the journey. You can not just start your own journey, also helping other people to start their journey. So then the precious human life that you have is not being waste, that you are getting the most out of this precious human life. Otherwise, just being pessimistic, so then it's great loss. So that's one way you can explain. So, and it's like not just that, and also like, it's almost like, it's almost like deceiving yourself or cheating yourself. Not knowing that life that you have is like not knowing or not understanding, not seeing, not being aware there's like something very precious. And that mindset kind of like deceiving. It's kind of cheating at you, not to take the best out of this life. Oh, so there's no great loss. That's the Lama started like that. So now see, so the Lamrim is the best teaching. It's the best teaching. It's authentic teaching. It's the best teachings. The Lamrim, if you rely on Lamrim, the Lamrim will shape your life. It will make your life happier. 100%. There's no question at all. If you embrace Lamrim teachings, if you rely on Lamrim, your life will be better. Even this life will be better. If there's something goes on after this life, it will be better one. The result will be liberation and fully enlightenment. That's the result. So that's why Lamrim is the best teaching. Authentic, been practiced by Lama Atisha, Lama Tsongkhapa, and all these great masters. His Holiness 14 Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, my teacher, all of them. So it helps. You can see, you don't have to go like 600 years back. You can see, still now, you can see as individuals, human beings who embrace Lamrim teachings and see how much benefit they receive. And so the Lamrim is the best. It's not Gelugpa teaching. It's Lamrim is, Buddha's teaching. Okay. So then. So then there's like more like stories. Sajun Chanju, so Tibetan, all the Tibetan people owes that Lama so much. Sajun Chanju. One, probably sacrificed his life in order to bring Lama Atisha to Tibet. At that time, there's a small kingdom inside the Tibet. Then Lazu Chanju, so that Lazu Chanju looking for gold to send to India to invite Lama Atisha back to Tibet, establish Buddha Dharma. Worked so hard, then somehow like imprisoned in some small kingdom inside Tibet. So that king like asking size of gold like his body, so then he will be released. So Lazu Chanju, he said, no, all this gold I collected to invite Lama Atisha back to Tibet to reestablish Buddha Dharma. So this gold is for that, it's not for my rescue. So don't use that for my rescue. So then delegation went to India, offered their gold to Lama Atisha. So then Lama Atisha was not impressed by the amount of gold that he received. What Lama Atisha was impressed, the message that Tazun Chanju at that time, he was in the prison, sent. And he requests Lama Atisha, please come to Tibet and teach refuge, teach refuge and karma. So Lama Atisha was very much impressed by teaching that requested by Tazun Chanju, that's the name of the person who was in prison in Tibet. And I say, oh, give this initiation, that initiation. He didn't say, just simply requesting some simple teachings. So Lama Atisha was very much touched, deeply touched by the request sent by that king. So then that's how, so that directly all the Tibetan people owe him so much, and of course indirectly all of us, so because of him, the Lama Atisha taught in Tibet light of the path to enlightenment. That first Lamrim teachings was taught by Lama Atisha's light of the path to enlightenment. So that text was taught in Tibet by Lama Atisha's. So that all they know, there's. We are so fortunate, that people they work so hard, so hard to bring Dharma back to Tibet, So and some of my teachers, while he's studying back in the Sera monastery, have nothing to eat, always hungry. So then, putting a piece of rock into his stomach to have some weight. There's no weight because there's no enough food. Reading a textbook with a piece of incense. There's no light like this. That's how they learn. They just use piece of incense. That's how they read. So much effort has been put, so that's how they liberate. So here, we have lights, not just one, we have 4, 5, 6, 7 lights. So then, no need to read with the incense, so that's how much put. So any knowledge, without effort, there will be no knowledge. There will be zero knowledge. Whatever any knowledge you gain, you put some effort. You put some effort. So now my teachers, Khenzo Rinpoche teachers, when he was studying back in Tibet before 1959, using a piece of incense, there's more light. There's no light. I never read any textbook with incense, never read. If it comes down to that, will I read? Probably I will not read. So see, how much dedication you put in, so then produce based on that, the result will be produced based on that. So then we just want to, I did just sharing with you, so the way the teaching that the Chanju, the Lama who requested Lama Atisha, so the Lama Atisha was very much pleased by that. Lama Sambo. So then he called one of the best disciples. That person, the Lama Atisha called one of the, he's the one of the best disciples. So I think it's in the Light of the Path text. If you read, his name was there. Half of the name was mentioned in their teachings. So as I said, Chukila, so this is more like stories, so I think you can read. So some of them I just accidentally remember by heart, but most of them you can read. So there's nothing much to. Oh, then let's go. So then there's another one point I just want to mention, but I'm not going to read the stories. It's just, you can read, there's nothing to really to explain. Tinju Tsombe, Jusums. So did you see the Lamla Chukila, see 3 causes of writing?
Yes.
What is
the
called
three
in
causes. The 3 causes of a composer of commentaries.
Is it's like writing a book, writing a Dharma book.
Yes.
Let's say this is writing a Dharma book. You don't just write because you know how to write. That's not good enough. So now see, that's why the most teaching are very authentic. So why? Because whoever want to write, they're aware of these things. So can you read that, please?
Yes, this is on page 46. The first is skill in the objects of knowledge of the 5 sciences. The second is unbroken oral instructions.
5 sciences. So you can look up 5 signs like sorry, but this is maybe Lamla you'll find, like Chukla you'll find next time. There's like medicine and like logic, and there's 5 great sciences refer to that. Then second one,
Geshe, I have the 5 sciences here.
yeah. So you can, if you read them, people will have some knowledge about the 5.
Grammar, logic, medicine, fine arts, and religious philosophy.
Oh, yeah, these are the 5 senses. Okay.
So the second point is the unbroken oral instructions of holy beings.
If you want to write about Lamrim, so first of all, you need to receive Lamrim teaching. You can't just write about Lamrim, never receive any teaching about Lamrim. That's not how you write. So that's why you need to receive lineage, the blessing from the lineage. Okay.
And the third is a direct vision of his or her personal deity and the deity's permission to compose.
So that's why not many people write, so whoever writes a Dharma book, so they pretty much possess these 3 qualities, Of course, in the best, having 3 of them is the best. But the last one is difficult. Last one is not that easy. And then, temba di damba kongde yongzo cholanga. Then what are the critical points beside the story? Chugila.
I can say, Geshe, something that I found interesting was when Pabanka Rinpoche was talking about how we are Lamrimpas because our explanation is based on Tsongkhapa's middle-length treatise on the stages. So just saying that because that's what we're following, we're Lamrimpas.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So then, so next time, Chukila, so what time is now? What time is it?
We have about 15 minutes.
So next time, Chukila, if you can pick up the critical point, not just stories. The story you can just read at home. It's like histories. You can just read, so, and it doesn't make sense me reading, explaining, but you can read perfectly well in English. It's all translated in English. You can read this history. If you can pick up if there's any piece of teachings, like of course these are all teaching, but there's really nothing to explain. It's just history. Mm. So, yeah, I mean, or maybe what we'll do next Wednesday, Lamula or Chukila will read the text. If you're hoping that somebody will read the class, then maybe Chukila or Lamula will read through. So then if you don't understand, we'll stop there, so then I'll explain, okay? Or you read at home. Oh. I think that Chukila, didn't you like, I think that you make like outline.
We made an outline, Geshe, but it's very broad. It's just 1 or 2 topics per day. So yeah, Donna and I went through and tried to create an outline.
Maybe like Hamula and Chukila will teach Wednesday night class and read there. So maybe then write down whatever you don't understand. So then maybe I'll come back on Wednesday. So then we'll have Q&A. How it sounds? Sounds good? So then so then I will take break. So then the benefit is that the Venerable Lamula and Chukila will read every single word. So maybe there's another benefit. So me reading in Tibetan, then saying in English is kind of like reading in Tibetan, saying in English, then it takes a lot of time. So, so you talk to Chukila and Lamula, so whatever you think is the best to finish this text. It looks like I never read this text. This is the first time I'm also reading. So this is mainly like history there. So and some of them I heard many times, so that's what I remember by heart. So that we all need to think how to finish this text, how to finish, what is the best way to finish? If you don't want to leave any word, what's the best way to finish? So this is the problem, not best way to finish, because it will take a lot of time. I read in Tibetan, so then try to translate into my broken English. So maybe I don't know about Chukila or Hamula will read, or maybe like see every Wednesday, it's like every class like 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Yes, 1.5 hours.
1.5 hours, 30 minutes, you have class with the Chukila or Hamula class. I will come after 30 minutes. So then they will write it down. If you don't understand anything, then write it down. Does it sound good? Huh? I'm like trying to think the best way to finish this textbook. What is the best? So then you all can read, you all read English very well. It's your first language, you can read very well. So then Hamula and Chukila will rotate because sometimes Chukila doesn't feel very good. So you can expect Chukila to be there all the time. So then read 30 minutes or maybe 35 minutes. So then you can say, oh, I did study the text. Now the way I teach is like I'm leaving a lot of things. So then this is not really, I say, you don't feel like that you study because I just jump like page after page. So probably that's the best. What do you think? Probably that's the best. So then Chukila and Hamula will write it down. There's some critical means there's some point that I need to explain. If they feel like I need to explain, so then I'm more than happy to explain. So then I will come maybe 30 minutes or 35 minutes or 40 minutes after the class start. So then we have Q&A. So that sounds good. Huh?
Try it. So you try it.
Yeah, what to try. Okay, maybe next Wednesday, that's what we do. Okay, so then you can say, oh, I did study that text. If somebody mentioned, oh, I read the text, whole text. That's good. So like right now, going with me, you are probably not going to say I read whole text because Geshe Gelek way of teaching is goat eating grass. Touch a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. A little bit here. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So now we'll stop. So then see you next Wednesday. And everybody have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into
that enlightened state.
may the
May the
supreme
supreme bodhicitta that is
not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, I too dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue, with the dedication praised as the best, by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so I might perform good works. I dedicate whatever virtues I have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losangdrapa to shine forever. Now the long life prayers. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good, all-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. The one who mastered his speech at a very young age, the one with great patience who received the name Avatare, the one with great precision who spread the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa and Bliss and Void, Lama Ornament of the Yellow Hat tradition, please remain until samsara ends. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bear of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Majjhima's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the 3 jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snow, Losangdrapa, at your feet I make request. Om Tare Tu Re Soha, 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 Om Tare Tu Re Soha.
Oh yeah, good night. Good night, everyone. Good night.